Do you ever get the feeling like everything has gone wrong and nobody cares and you're just all alone to face it by yourself? The prophet Elijah did. Hello, and welcome to another 5-minute message. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what Elijah went through. And really, is it any different than what we go through today? Now, admittedly, the circumstances were quite extraordinary, to say the least. But the emotional upheaval that he went through, we feel the same at times. Let's take a look at that story. King Ahab married Jezebel. Now, Jezebel was one who worshiped Baal, and she fully believed in worshiping Baal. And she led the kingdom of Israel through Abraham's leadership to worship Baal as well. Well, Elijah found out about this and met with the king and put them to the test, and then had all of the prophets of Baal killed, about 450 of them. When Jezebel heard about this, she was enraged. She sent a messenger to Elijah to let him know that she was now going to kill him. And Elijah ran away in fear. After running into the wilderness for a day, he was so disheartened that he laid down under a broom tree, much like these you see behind me. And he asked God to just take him. He just couldn't take it any longer, and he was ready to go home. He fell asleep in his agony. But God took compassion on him, and he sent him an angel with food and drink. And the angel woke him up and had him eat. Elijah went back to sleep. The angel woke him up a second time and said, "Here's some more food you need to eat. You have a big journey ahead of you." And so he did. After eating for a couple of days, he went on a 40-day hike to Mount Horeb. There he found a cave, and he hid in it. But the Lord came to him and said, "What are you doing here?" Elijah answered, "The people of Israel have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, killed your prophets with the sword, and I, even I only, am left. And they seek my life to take it." God sends him out of the cave onto the mountainside. And there God shows him an amazing sight. All of a sudden, the wind began to blow so hard that it began to tear the mountains apart. And when the wind died down, there was a huge earthquake that rattled the mountains. And he caused this great fire to appear. And then finally, he just heard the sound of someone whispering. After seeing this, Elijah went back to the cave. And God said, "What are you doing here?" Elisha repeated his answer all over again. So God told Elijah to go back and anoint new kings in Syria and in Israel, and new prophets, and they will go wipe out all those who worship Baal. But they will save 7,000 Israelites who did not worship Baal. You see, Elijah was never alone. There were 7,000 other Israelites who backed him and were faithful to God. Elijah was never alone because he had the power of God on his side. When we get feeling all alone in our troubles, we need to remember that we're not alone. We're not the first to ever go through this, and we're sure not going to be the last. Our brothers and our sisters in Christ stand ready to help. All we need to do is ask. In the book of Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9 and 10, it says, "And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. So then as we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone, and especially to those of the household of faith." Why especially to those of the household of faith? Because we have tougher times than other people because of God, because we are persecuted because of our religion, because of who we believe in, of who we trust. We see it going on today where all the churches of all denominations are being persecuted at this time. And things are getting really tough out there. And sometimes those Christians are feeling like they're all alone. When we're feeling all alone in our troubles, we need to remember that we are not alone because God is with us. Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 through 16, we have some very comforting words. Since then, we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus, the Son of God. Let us hold fast to our confession. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weakness, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sin. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in the time of need. When we are in the midst of our trials and we feel all alone, we are not all alone because we have brothers and sisters who care for us and a God who loves us. And they're all there for us. We are never alone. So remember, when things get tough, trust God. He will always be there for you. Thank you for watching.